It is week number 4 of the LHSAA high school football season in the state of Louisiana, and the Hash It Out Show game of the week. And this is probably one of our biggest weeks of the season. We have not one, but two undefeated matchups this week, and it is going to be a great week on the Hash It Out Show game of the week. We have the Hahnville Tigers and the Terrebonne Tigers in the Battle of the Tigers for the district opener in itself. And we're here with the head coach of the Hahnville Tigers. We have Coach Greg Boyne. Coach, how you doing?
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me, Kate.
Appreciate it. First of all, we got to talk about how things have been going with your team this season. A very good start for you guys last year in a big time step. Last week in a big time step up game, you got a huge win against Ed White. Tell us a little bit on your thoughts on last week's performance and how your team has really kind of elevated a bit.
I thought we played at a relatively high level. Anytime you beat a good program like Ed White, Coach Hussein, and his staff have our respect for what they've done, in the past and this year. He's willing to play a schedule that prepares his kids to play 5A teams. He playing Jesuit and Holy Cross. So we knew what we were going to face. Very physical. That the offense that they run is not easy to prepare for. Defense, they play a very physical brand of football. So it was a good win. We tell our kids that in order to be considered a good program, you have to beat and compete with good programs. So we felt like we did that last week.
What were your thoughts on your defensive performance? Almost similar to what Terrebonne did last week. You hold a team that's capable of can score anytime to 7 points. What are your thoughts on how your defense performed?
Yeah, and I think our defense has improved since St. James. I thought we had missed a lot of tackles in the jamboree. Obviously St. James is a very skilled football team, but I think Coach Goble challenged the defense to step their game up to a man, and they accepted that. They've watched more film. They've dedicated themselves to knowing their opponent. They've practiced at a higher level. They prepared at a higher level, and the week of practice is what won that game for us on Friday defensively.
Well, let's talk about the offensive side of the ball. Little different this year, but it seemed like still the same style. The run game one set up for the pass more than anything else. Tell us who has been really stepping up for you offensively and getting things going for the Tigers offense.
Yeah, and last year we kind of knew what we were offensively. We had a senior offensive line, and anytime you have a back like C.J. Smith, sometimes you can fall in the trap of maybe giving him the ball too many times. And looking back at last season when we did our self scout in the off season, our balance probably wasn't there. So we made a conscious effort to improve the passing game, our play action, our run pass option, our drop back game, and have it complement the run game. As you said, we're still pretty good up front. We have some big young kids. Fabian Celestine does a great job at running back. But our receivers have stepped up. Bennett Knockham moving the receiver has certainly helped. And Landon Teague understands what we want to do. He's become, instead of a baseball kid playing football, he's a quarterback. He's a quarterback in every sense of the word. He studies film. He studies the opponent. He works after practice with the receivers running routes. They talk about adjustments to routes based on coverage, and it's exciting to see. We actually threw for about 370 yards. We had a couple silly penalties that had 170 of it called back, so we only had about 200. But the passes that he threw were on point. He's the one who makes it go. Again, the receivers are playing well, but Landon is what makes the offense tick.
Well, taking a look at this week's matchup more than anything else, the offense for Hanville, just has to step it up, maybe another notch a little bit, but at the same time, a game of two contrasting styles. You mix it up with the run and pass, and Terrebonne, they really set the tone on the run. What do you think has to really get done for Hanville to pull off this win on the road?
Yeah. Again, I think protecting the football is big. And keeping the ball away from their skill guys, and maybe milking a little clock, maybe not going so fast. They present a lot of problems on both sides of the ball. They're huge up front on the offensive line. They're very well coached. They do a fantastic job of running the football. I think the guy who doesn't get enough credit over there is Owen Oliver, the quarterback, who seems like he's going into his 6th year starting. He does a really good job of extending plays when things break down. Doesn't run a whole lot. They have enough backs with Celestine and Big Bear to not have to let him run, but he also runs when he has to. Um, Offensively, they are a machine. Um, they get behind that big offensive line, 3 college players. When you have that, you should run the football, kind of like I was saying with us last year. That's kind of who they remind me of. Adams reminds me of CJ, 205 pounds, and he can make you miss. He can run past you. He can run by you. He can run over you. Defensively, again, they're huge up front. The 2 tackles are over 300 pounds, so that presents some problems with what we like to do. So keeping the ball out of their hands is definitely part of our plan.
Well, what are your thoughts on Friday with the atmosphere? And last week was an unbelievable atmosphere at Terrebonne with St. James. What are your thoughts on this week with the atmosphere over in Terrebonne? I know a lot of the Hanville Tiger Nation will be traveling on the road to Terrebonne.
Yeah, we hope our fans come out. We feel like we've put a product out on the field the first few weeks that is exciting to watch. And the Hornville fan base. I think when they feel like you're successful and they feel like it's a good good product, they're going to show up even on the road. They've always traveled well, so we think we'll get a good crowd. And I'm assuming Terrebonne, with the way Coach Lewis has things going, will be a full house, 2 3-0 teams, and that's what high school football is all about.
Very much so. They had a lot of fans last week. I mean, when we got to the stadium, a lot of the Terrebonne fans was out there early, tailgating and all that stuff. Even the St. James fans was out there too. It was a really, really good atmosphere. So expecting the same on Friday.
Absolutely, and again, when those teams are good, when Terrebonne's good, and Thibodeau and South Lafourche, those are the teams that are traditional Central Lafourche, traditional Hornville rivals more than some of the teams in the city through the years. So when those teams are good, it makes for an exciting atmosphere. It gets the kids ready to play.
Last year, it was a three-way tie for first place in the district between Hanville, Terrebonne, and Destrehan. This is a big game to really set the tone. What would it mean to your team, Coach Boyne, if Hanville gets it done against this feisty Terrebonne team in a potential 4-quarter war?
Right. Obviously, these days with the power ranking system, it's exciting for the kids in the community to share a district championship. But more importantly, you're talking about a team that's going to probably win 8, 9, 10 games. So, if you can beat them on the road, that PowerPoint wise, that's a huge win. Especially our first couple of opponents didn't have any wins. So, that right off the bat hurts your power ranking. So that's the number one, and then you want to just keep playing good. More importantly than district championships or power rankings, you kind of on a roll right now early in the year. You want to keep that going in week 4. Still early, still finding out about yourself. We did take the jamboree on the road to kind of give ourselves a chance to, see we knew our first 3 games were at home. This was not the easiest first road game, but we've gone through the itinerary. We kind of, the kids know what to expect. We're not a very veteran team, so it will be the first time in a big road game. So that's a big part of it. How do they handle the travel?
This is your alma mater, Coach Bourne, that you're coaching right now more than anything else. What are your thoughts on, this is I think year 2, I believe, with you.
Get you.
So what are your thoughts of, being back home and coaching Hanville, but not just that, bringing back a lot of things that was really instilled in you as a Hanville Tiger?
Yeah, that's a good point. And the number one part is it's fun to see the excitement around the program. For whatever reason, that kind of had died out. There's this very passionate fan base here at Hornville, as you know. They usually show up, win or lose, rain or shine. So I think as long as they know that the kids are playing hard, we try to stay involved in the community. We try to do right by kids. We emphasize student athletes. We're going to push the kids hard. We're gonna work the kids hard, which I think as an athlete you should want that. A lot of the things that went still with me for coaching under Coach Robichaux at Destrehan, we brought over, and that does some people don't understand that because they don't want it to be a certain way, but there's a lot of similarities between the two sides of the river. It's all good kids. It's all kids that are talented, but also love the game of football. One of the things that I realized coming here was that tackle football had kind of dipped in this area after COVID and after Ida, so we have that back going extremely strong. Saturday mornings, our recreation uses our field, and hundreds of kids able to play on this field, and so those type things are coming back, and you can kind of feel it in the community. Anytime you're out in the community, there's excitement about the program. And look, win or lose Friday, I think that will continue. That's losing is part of sports, just like winning. I don't think we would have been any worse of a team if we would have lost to ED White. The kids played hard, they competed, and that's what we want from our kids. So as long as we continue to do that, I think we'll have the support of the community.
It's the District 8-5A opener in the River Parish. It is Hanville. It is Terrebonne. 3-0 going against one another. Somebody will be leaving out of town B. Smith Stadium 4-0 on a year. It should be a big one Friday. Countdown to kickoff 6:45, and the kickoff to our Hash It Out show Friday night game of the week 7 p.m. on the JBU Sports Guy YouTube page. Head coach of Hanville, Coach Greg Boyne, thank you so much.